Hi, and today we're actually doing something completely different. In today's video, we're checking out KDE for Windows, and you may be confused on what the fuck might mean. Well, this is actually a real thing by KDE. KDE for Windows Installer. And this is an extremely old version of KDE for Windows, and that's why we're using Windows 7. So, because of the servers being already down, luckily, we can actually install from a local directory. Because of the servers being down, we're gonna have to do this. What I'm gonna do is just install the end user version. Now the download path has to be specified because we're gonna be using our own, which already contains pre-downloaded packages. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I don't know what happened, I just managed to make it show up. So what we're gonna do is install everything, because why not? We're gonna install the entire KDE suite, and now let's just install. Alright, let's confirm the installation and let's begin. Alright, here we go. So, here we have KDE's system settings inside of Windows, and this looks pretty cursed because, let's see, account details. Alright, you got all the folders from Windows, so you can change them here. KDE Wallet is installed, which means I can probably store some passwords. Let's see if KDE Wallet Manager starts. Alright, let's create a new wallet. Let's call it KDE Wallet. K-Wallet, the KDE Wallet system. Alright, yes, I wish to use KDE Wallet to store my personal information. Allow. Alright, yeah, so you can actually use KDE Wallet as your fucking password manager if you wanted to. That's fucking okay. That's possible. But yeah, we've got K-Wallet, KDE Wallet on Windows 7. So by default, we're using the Oxygen theme, which is, I guess, the obvious choice because that's what the default theme was around the time. But you can actually set Windows Vista as the theme, which, well, it looks like Windows Vista. Now, you can also set XP theme, I guess. This probably would also run on Windows XP. Although, it does not really look like Windows XP, I would have to have XP installed. And 9X is probably just gonna work. Yeah, Windows 9X is gonna work fine. So I got some themes, I'm gonna be defaulting to Oxygen for now. Next are colors, so obviously in KDE we can actually change colors, and so possibly even in here I can go into colors. Actually, there is way more options. Nowadays I think I would have to click in some advanced menu, but here you can change every single color of KDE. We're not gonna go ahead and change anything here. Icons, I don't have any icons. Fonts, so you can change the default fonts. All of them are using Haruni 9, whatever the fuck this font is, but this doesn't look like that font. Let's see if we can use the Windows font. Sego UI, hit OK, hit apply. And now we have changed the font. In locale, we can change the system locale. This would, I guess, work the same way as if you change locale inside of Windows. You can also enable and disable spell checking. Alright, so what can we check out of KDE? Well, because this is KDE 4, basically, it is going to be essentially the same experience as on KDE 4, but for Windows. But before we actually try out KDE applications, let me just reboot the computer real quick. Oh my god, there is an entire fucking games section. We're not gonna check out every single one of these, but your classic K-mines are here. You can play that. Let's check out Conqueror because I don't have any other web browser on here. Let's see if it even starts. Holy shit, it does, and it still looks the same. It looks the same on KDE 6. Let's try visiting my website. Maybe it'll still load in this ancient version of whatever the engine is. Let's see if it loads, and it could not be completed because SSL negotiation failed. I expected this to happen because certificates on Windows 7 are just plain outdated, but we can try Google, for example. And it actually loads. Let's see what browser we are on. Let's see. Based on the technical information sent by your device, you're currently using the following web browser. Browser Chrome. You're absolutely wrong. Okay. Let's try an actual website for this, and I'm gonna hope it actually loads. We're using Conqueror number 4. Alright, let's try Dolphin, because I use Dolphin as my file manager. Dolphin, file manager. I love how everything has a description, so if you're trying to search for an application, you'll find it. And this looks exactly like Dolphin in nowadays. Let's see what we can do here. So, this very suspiciously looks like a Windows install. And you can do the exact same thing as you can do on a KDE install. You can browse the storage like this. Alright, G1 view, let's see. The KDE image viewer, let's see. So, this looks very similar to what it looks like in KDE. I didn't open it like this ever. I just always open it using a file, but I should bet this would work, obviously. So the advanced text editor Kate is on here as well, and this is my favorite configuration file editor. Let's just try and see how it functions inside of here. Alright, so Kate has tips. So we're gonna uncheck show tips on startup and continue. Let's see, so I have to change the language somehow. Alright, highlighting of code works. The default font is this, at least on my install, and syntax highlighting does work. It does not recognize files, but you can actually do this. I'm assuming the keyboard shortcuts like Control-R or Control-H will work, so we can replace text very easily, which is very nice. And we also have KWrite, the lighter version of Kate. Let's see, what about this one? Well, it looks exactly the same. I'm gonna copy the code here. Let's see if we have the same highlighting option. And look at that. So this is basically KWrite. It works exactly the same way as KWrite in 2026. You can also syntax highlight code inside of KWrite. I've seen Cleopatra in the installation process, so we have a certificate manager, Cleopatra. Except nothing's supported because we don't have any sort of GPG installed, so this won't work. We're just gonna continue anyway. And yeah, it is Cleopatra, and it's also opening. Also just opening the KDE crash handler. We're sorry, Cleopatra closed unexpectedly. Alright then, close. Unfortunately, Cleopatra is not gonna work without having GPG installed, and I'm not hunting that down for Windows 7. So for Cleopatra, you need one of these, and so you actually can use it. I wanted to try Firelight as well. Free and used, that's so cool. Let's just see what the used will say. It's very terrible font, and here you go. Yeah, and so you can see every single folder that is likely taking up the most space. So the KDE folder in here, and you can see all the different packages. There's a lot of things, a lot of tools that I would like to check out in this video, but because the video is already probably very long, I'm not gonna do that here, but these are generally the same tools you would see on a fresh KDE 4 install. Okay, I didn't mean to open that, but whatever, it doesn't even work, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.